Here is the Algebra 2 end of Unit 4 review for Algebra 2. On question 1, we want to either check to see if we can make these the same base or switch them to log form. Where A, we do have that same base of 10, and where this exponent right there is going to be a 1. So because these are the same base, that means the exponent has to be equal to each other, which makes it so the n has to be equal to 4. With number 2, we want to multiply by 2 on both sides to get that exponential form by itself. So now we'll have 0.1 right there, where 0.1 is actually equal to 1/10. So that means that 10 to the x is going to be equal, 1/10 is just 10 to the negative 1, using the negative exponent properties, which means that x has to be equal to negative 1, since now they have the same base. On C, to make 1/3 t, to make 100, that's 10 squared. So that means since they're the same base of 10, 1/3 t is equal to 2. And if you times that by 3, that means t has to be equal to 6. And then on the next one, we are not able to make 48 from a base of 10. Like 10 to the 1 is 10. 10 squared is 100. So that's when you can switch to log form. So this would be log base 10. And you can either write it or you don't need to. Of 48. If it's log base 10, you don't necessarily need to write the 10. And then this is going to be equal to 2x. And then to get the x all by itself, divide by 2 on both sides. So log base 10 of 48 divided by 2 is equal to x. And you can type that into your calculator since it's a base 10, but don't necessarily need to. If you do, it should be approximately 0.84. But the exact answer is perfectly acceptable. Write two equations, one in logarithmic form and one in exponential form, that represents the statement. The natural logarithm of 10 is y. So, first of all, in log form, the natural log, that's ln, where the base is e, of 10 is equal to y. Switching that into exponential form, the base is e, and the exponent will now be y, and that's equal to 10. And the base 10 log table shows that the value of log base 10 of 50 is about 1.69897, and explain why or show why this makes sense, that it's a value between 1 and 2. So this means that 10 to the 1.69897, switching it to exponential form from the log form, is equal to 50, or about that. So we know that has to be between 1 and 2 because 10 to the 1 is equal to 10, and 10 to the 10 squared is equal to 100. So since 50 is between 1 and 100, that means the exponent has to be between 1 and 2. So however you want to write that, what was just explained. What does a negative exponent tell us about the situation? For example, a substance decays at a rate of 22% per day. The equation y equals 50 times 0.78 to the x represents this situation. So if we were to put a negative exponent into there, the negative exponent would mean, so negative x would mean that we're going backwards in time. Or counting days before or time before. Okay. Number 5, the growth of a bacteria population is modeled by this equation. For each question, explain or show how you know. How long does it take for the population to double? Okay, so it started at 1,000. So to double, that means it's going to be at 2,000 now. E to the 0.4 h. So to solve this, first you want to get it into just that exponential version. So divide by 1,000 on both sides. So this will be 2 is equal to e to the 0.4h. Now, in order to get to that exponent, we're going to switch it to log form. So log base e, or natural log, if now 2 is equal to the exponent of 0.4h. And to get the h all by itself, divide by 0.4 on both sides. And you can keep it as that, or if you do type this in, it's about 1.73. And for it to reach 1,000,000, same process. We're just going to plug in that number instead of 2,000. Divide by 1,000 on each side. Which will now leave you, if you switch it into ln, natural log, and divide by 0.4, that will give you h, which is approximately 17.27. It's always best to check to make sure that number makes sense for what you're finding. So in both of these questions, we're finding a how long and how many days or hours. I put hours, but just because it says h, but that's okay. How long, it makes sense that it's 1.73 of that.